everyone. Welcome to Horse Center today. We have a very, very special guest on tonight, a personal friend of mine, Jockey Scott Spieth, who is currently 39th in the entire history of North America as far as winningest jockeys go, which is just incredible. 4,952 wins. So 5,000 is coming any minute now. Thank you so much for being here, Scott. We're so happy to have you.
No problem. Thank you.
And I just wanted to real quickly tell a little story. You and I have a personal connection, and I think it just really shows who you are professionally and also who you are as a human being. So I grew up in Ohio horse racing. So I've known you pretty much forever. I grew up knowing you, admiring you, looking up to you. And once I got old enough, I started ponying horses at the racetrack. So I got to take you to the gates plenty of times. And then you and I also both switched over to Presque Isle Downs when it opened. So we're some of the OGs that were there that very first year. What was it, like 2007 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Presque Isle Pony crew was extremely close. It was great. So we would basically get to like pick our favorite riders for most of the races. And I would always be like, I want Scott. If Scott's available, I get Scott. I call dibs. So I was almost like your personal pony girl. I got to pony you tons of races, which I loved because we had so many great conversations. You were so nice to me. You would tell me things like why you were warming up a horse a certain way or why you did X, Y, Z, just kind of sharing your knowledge with me, a lowly little pony person. But then also at one point, I was in a crossroads in my career, both financially and also trying to chase my passion. And of course, I was talking with you about that one day out there on the track. And you told me, I know you have your bachelor's degree. You really need to go back, get your professional degree, have a job that you can really depend on, where you're not stuck being stressed out and worried in this business. You can still do this on the side, like for fun on your own terms, but not have it, make or break you. So I thought about that advice. Very shortly after that, I applied to pharmacy school, and I am now a pharmacist, which I completely credit to you and your excellent advice. And you are absolutely correct. I've got a great job now. I still am involved in horse racing. As you can see, I get to do things like this. I still get on horses occasionally. Like, it's been wonderful. So thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome.
Sounds going on.
Real.
Okay, Scott.
Yes.
You're breaking up. We can't really hear you. I'm so sorry.
All right, let me move a little bit.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. My thing is you got to take all credit for that because you pursued and you finished your, degree. Okay. So to me, that's the most important thing. But as far as me growing up in the business, I was in college, full ride scholarship, University of Michigan. I didn't have a lot of leadership from the old riders. Okay. So I wasn't taught a lot as far as like what I moved over my year for my ride. It was the easier avenue. Okay. You're making good money. Things were going great. I was third leading rider my first year. And in the meantime, it was one of those that I didn't have a lot of people mentor me. And so I've always tried to mentor younger riders or anybody.
Yeah, you definitely were a mentor to me, and I've seen you mentor so many other people. That's awesome. It's a great thing to have on the track because so much of this you just got to learn by doing it. You can't really take a class.
Well, you learn by people who got.
You're breaking up again. I'm so sorry. I hate to keep interrupting you.
I think the connection's okay. I think it's when you take the phone back further.
Oh, okay. Bring it up closer.
Closer, yeah. I'm sorry, the opposite.
Does that help?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes,
All right.
perfect.
Like I said, people helping you out and mentoring you is very important in this career, and you have to find those individuals that are willing to do that for you. You know,
Absolutely.
I did not have that growing up in my career. My parents were not in the horse racing industry. I just kind of fell into it because of my older brother. So I started galloping horses on the racetrack when I was 13, a little bush track. It was pari-mutuel, but it was a bush track, quarter horses. In the meantime, it was one of those, I just kind of just kept going along with it till I was in college. And next thing you know, I'm jumping into the major racing. So.
For sure. And you mentioned riding quarter horses. I know that you've ridden quarter horses, Arabians, Appaloosas, thoroughbreds, of course, everything. I mean, how do you think that just being an all-around horseman, instead of just like being so focused on one path, how do you think that's helped you?
That helps tremendously, because I know a horse. I'm not just a jockey per se. I'm a horseman, you know. There's a lot of different things that go to our riding careers, but horses will travel differently. And I can look at a horse's conformation before I get on it and know, okay, this one's going to travel a little different, instead of saying, oh, this horse is sore. You know what I mean? I know that it's going to travel a little different. And, but just knowing the overall horse, it helps you. I grew up with the horses. I feel like mentally I connect with them, and that is tremendous.
Absolutely.
A big asset.
Yes, I agree. And also, okay, this was a question requested by my husband. So you ride a lot of horses for your wife, Aldana. Shout out to Aldana. Absolutely adore her. And her beautiful Palomino pony. Oh, every time I see it, I'm like, oh. But do you feel more pressure when you ride for Aldana, or maybe less pressure? Like, she's going to be understanding if things don't go to plan?
Oh, no. My wife is a very tough cookie. Okay? Tough cookie. So, do I feel more pressure? No, because early on in our relationship, I'm like, you're the trainer, I'm the jockey. You have to let me do my job. I'm very good at what I do. She's very good at what she does. And as far as, there's going to be some conflict there, like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Or vice versa. But no, that is part of the business. I have to respect her as a trainer, respect me as a jockey, and we go from there. So I don't feel any more pressure because she knows, or she feels, I'm not going to say she feels I'm the best one for the job. Okay?
Of course.
Do you feel more of a connection with those horses since you've kind of been around those horses before than other horses?
That's hard to say because you know what? Some of those horses, you go ahead and I'm around those horses all day long. Yes, I definitely have more of a connection as far as feeling, personality towards them. But when you're out there in the race, when that gate opens, you have to go according to what's happening. I know the quirks. I review all my replays on all the races I'm riding. You know what I mean? So I watch the horses that I've been on. So I'm pretty dedicated towards my business. Let's put it that way.
Obviously. Okay, and you've had so many accomplishments. I know you've had more leading rider titles than we can list. That would take up the entire interview.
I couldn't tell you how many, so I don't.
Yeah, you've been a lot of places. Is there one accomplishment that you can really say is the one you're most proud of?
All right, let's go here. When I switched from quarter horses to thoroughbreds, okay? So my first year of riding thoroughbreds, I was at DRC. I was working for Carol and Richard Ritelli. In the meantime, this was probably personal favorite. It wasn't like an accomplishment, but it made me know that I was good enough to be a professional thoroughbred rider. So I've been working a horse called Pancho Goldstein. My trainer kept saying, this donkey will never win. I said, he'll win first time. Opening day, DRC, it was probably 1988. My parents came up for the races. I said, Mom, she's a $10 bet. I said, this horse will win for fun. He won by 5, paid $172.
Wow. Okay.
First year at thoroughbred racing.
Amazing. There you go. That's the horsemanship right there.
Just saying that I know my horse. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
And also, you've ridden at so many different racetracks. Where's your favorite track that you've ridden at?
Well, Santa Anita is beautiful, but Keeneland was the most fun to ride at. Everybody like happy to have you here. They're like, it's just beautiful racetrack. The way they do, very. Just, I loved it. Keeneland's probably. So.
Okay, yeah, it's hard not to love Keeneland.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And then this question is just more for me than the audience so much. But I remember back when we were together in Thistle Downs, you weren't there very much in the morning because you were riding the races all day long in Cleveland. And then you were driving to Mountaineer, riding all night long in Mountaineer, driving back, and then taking care of 4 or 5 children every morning. Like, how did you do this? I mean, I've got 4 kids in one job and I'm exhausted. So give me some pointers.
Years. Okay. I don't know the years exactly, but 8 years I was doing double shift. Thank God for Jeff Radosevich, because I was riding a lot for him. He could just show up in the end. It was one of those that I'd get home. Well, I'd start out in the morning. I had to be at the track by about 11:30. Ride races at 12:30. You go ahead and ride your race, jump in the car, head down there, try to be down there for the first race. I get home about 1:30. I remember many times where when my kids were younger, my kids too, as soon as I got home, they were up. So then I'd have to put them back to bed. And there was no way to do that without, I couldn't work mornings. There was no chance. And I give a lot of credit to Jeff because he realized how much I was working and how hard I was working. He was like, I don't want you in the morning. Go up in the.
Oh, yeah. No one can question your work ethic, that's for sure.
Oh, that was a lot of years, but I won a lot of races all those years. Made a lot of money, a lot of fun. And, I love what I do. I love what I do.
It shows, definitely.
Yeah.
How are you visioning that 5,000th win?
I don't look at it right now that way. You know what I mean? I keep looking for 53. I think it's 19. Mark Guidry. That's my number.
Oh, okay.
Got a little issue going on. Me and Mark. So he said, you there, and then COVID hit, and it hurt my, wins tremendously because I used to run back and forth. Mark and I are good buddies, and we golf a lot together when we've been together. And I've always teased him. I said, I'm going to pass you. That's probably the end. And he just laughs. He said, oh, you should have already been COVID, So he's a good buddy, good friend.
2 other jockeys a little bit ahead of you on the list that you rode with for years were Deshaun Parker and Terry Houghton. What's your relationship with them?
Oh, God, I mentored both of them starting out. Shawn Parker came in to DC. He was riding for Jack. I knew his dad. His dad was Stewart. And James Jack kind of pushed him to the side. Brought him in, had him working tons of horses. And I said, don't give up. And I'm thinking the kid's going to be big. All right? In the meantime, so I just told him, I said, got to find your spot. He's winning tons of races. Terry and I, first year at Tampa when I was, let me think back, 89 maybe. And Terry came down with me and Scotty Souls. Terry had been on injury and things like that. And so he pretty much laid up with us for that winter. And I'd won quite a few stakes that next year. Got back and he hooked up with Frank the Great Groffler, and his career took off. Terry and I talk every month, so.
Well,
So
you guys are in a very elite club.
Well, elite club, but you know what? We've worked hard for it, and we all are dedicated. We all know that if we need something, we call each other,
Yeah, you're also three of the nicest people I've ever met. I will say that for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's what makes this sport so unique too, is you guys are so competitive, but at the same time, best of friends.
You have to be. You have to be because your life's on the line out there, every day. And you have to rely on each other. And I'm saying you can't count on every jockey out there, but there's some of them that aren't established or as have the ability we have. So we need to know that we can count on somebody when we need them on, So, yeah, we want to strive. We want to be aggressive. We are definitely out there to win, but there's times when you need a little help. You just need that. Give me a little break here for a second, because
Do any of your
go ahead.
sorry.
You can
Do any of your
you can be in a spot where it's the end of your career,
right? And Terry's come back. Every one of you's come back from some kind of injury, and Terry's been through a ton.
Terry is as tough as nails. I'm telling you, he's a Perry. Okay, I don't think he'll ever quit riding.
Speaking of that, how much longer? I know you said once you get to your 5,000, that's not your career. You are going to go as much as your body says you're going to go.
Correct. That's exactly right. And the thing is, I take it a little easier at Tampa anymore. So I got 6 months of replenishment. They fit, but not beaten. So I try to hit hard up here at Prescott. And there, like I said, it's kind of a working vacation.
Yes, you've got to get that 5,000th win down here, though, because I want to be there for it. So save up for that one.
I got my 4,500 at Tampa, and I was like disappointed about that. But, actually, I would like to have my 5,000 Cleveland. That's where I'd like to have it.
Oh, yeah.
I won so many races over there. So when it gets close, I might push buttons. Let's put it that way.
Lots of memories there for sure.
Yeah.
Are any of your 5 kids going to follow in your footsteps or your wife's footsteps?
My oldest daughter, stepdaughter, she won the Derby Award for race. She's Arabians and thoroughbreds, so right. Her first start of the year, like about $, and why didn't you call me? And she's definitely my now 16-year-old. She's already rode amateur races at Fairhill.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, but she's smarty like me, so she's saying, Dad, I think I'll just do college. And I'm like, good girl. Good girl. And I don't think I want to be a jockey. And I'm like, I'm not pushing for it,
Sure.
So, and the other ones are too big. My sons are 4 and 6 foot.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, well, the 15-year-old's about 6 foot, and he's very good in track and field. So I think he can get a scholarship.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So something that you're actually kind of known for is you have not, knock on wood, had any major injuries, which is something most jockeys have to deal with all the time.
Hold on, I'm both right now, all right?
Well, I was just going to say, do you think that's just completely due to luck, or do you think there's anything else there that has helped you to?
Well, I believe that I was brought up at a young age. I mean, I was riding horses when I was 3 barrel racing. So at my first experiences, I wasn't good at it. But I've been riding horses since then. I have a very good sense of horses. I know their anatomy. I what look. So I've been very fortunate that I've been brought up with horses as part of my life, my whole life. I think that has somewhat to do with it. You know, I do see riders ride a horse into the ground. When I say that, I'm like, oh, pull it up, and they keep riding, and boom, you know. I grew up with horses. That was part of my life. So I think that is, an attribute to being more successful and not getting hurt. Now, you're still going to get built. I walked away that I have no idea how I did, you know. But overall, I've been fortunate. You know, it's a risk we take.
How hard was it to get used to the new whip rules?
Oh, I hate it. Hate it. Absolutely. I'm one that the new whip rule is you cannot raise your wrist above your head. Okay? Well, I was always one on my right hand. I come here and hit a horse. Well, that's above my head. And that was the tough thing for me. Left-handed, no, I'm always here, right? Like my forehead. So that was the toughest one for me. The 6 strikes, yeah, you can live with that, you know? But changing the way I strike a horse is ridiculous, in my opinion, because we already have soft popper. We don't have the leather, poppers anymore that used to leave a welt. Now you got soft poppers. Now we're going to a 360, which is even worse. So I just stick with it because that was part of the way I could strike a horse, and trust me, they knew it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was hurting them, but they knew it, you know? So you're taking away some of the things that I was taught years and advantages.
Right. And how hard is it to keep track of the 6? Like, I can't imagine all the stuff you guys are going through during a race and trying to keep track of how many times you've whipped a horse, too.
It's not that difficult because, I mean, for me, you go ahead and you work with what is given to you. And I know once I got to 3, I know I got 3 left. You know what I mean? And you're like, bop, bop, and I got to pick my time when I'm going to use them. Because I don't want to use them up and then, like, the last 70 yards I got nothing. So you got to save some. You got to be patient. To me, it's not that difficult. I got fined one time for 1 over, and I won the race by a nose. So I'll take the punishment.
Yeah, it seems like it would be easier for you. You know, you're just a very classically smart rider.
And it was my wife's horse.
The punishment was less on the track.
Correct. I'll go ahead and take the $500 fine at that time. That's what it was then. And he made $9,000. Okay.
Sure.
Do you have any other tracks on your radar that you'd like to at least ride out at once or check out?
I'd love to ride Colonial one time. I've never been. Of course, one of the best. And I was watching races there today to look at. And it's a good looking track, you know, and the person, you know, right. So I'm like, that might be a place I'd just like to go down there. Outside, pretty much rich track. You know. So, but Colonial, I've never been, and they say beautiful area.
Yeah, I've heard Colonial is really fun, and yeah, what was it, like a $250,000 maiden race there?
Well, it's unbelievable. I don't know. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing it right. They got a lot of jockey colonies going in there during the week and making for some great racing. So, yeah, it's great down there.
Yeah. Well, I was watching the field, 12 horses. You know, that take away our. I agree with four races a week easily, but Prescott,
you're kind of breaking up again. I'm sorry. Bring it up closer. There you go.
All right.
And you're getting some love from Aldana. Hi, Aldana.
Oh, there you go.
And Willie also says that the whip rule is hard for him because he doesn't know how to count. So you have an advantage there.
It gets touchy when you're down the last 70 yards and you're like, oh, fuck. You know, that's where you're getting like, oh, do I get one more time? Now it's a 1 day plus a fine. Fine,
Yeah.
okay, but the days is that would more your life.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Do you have any horses on the radar that's coming up that you're riding this week?
Oh my goodness, we always want horses, right? Oh, every time I ride 135, like, I don't have anything I want to put out there. Say, I like. We have some year-olds up that I'm pretty proud of. I'm not going to put their name out there. How's that?
Fair enough. Scott Spieth, safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always like my baby. Young horses I love. Anywhere I've ever gone, people come to me for the horses because I'm good. I give them a good assessment on them. And that's like young horses. But as far as my career, I've always had the best 2-year-olds. I love having good 2-year-olds. You know?
Yeah, you definitely have a way with them.
Yeah, well.
What's
right? 5 kids. You got
Yeah, true.
What's been your proudest moment in your career?
Oh boy. Proud. I would say putting together the we built a nonprofit organization that no one else has in the country. I'm not saying the nonprofit, but that nobody has the nonprofit like we put into the jockey retirement, put into health insurance or disability. And building, we established 2008. And probably my most proud career because it's something nobody ever did, you know. And us, I was in, gosh, probably late 30s, early 40s, and putting something in front of the jockeys and helping them. I'm proud of what we've done. Very proud.
You should be. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been
absolutely.
really life-changing, honestly, for a lot of people. It's a pretty
Correct.
big deal.
And the younger riders that are still coming to our program, I have to explain. Then I try to go ahead and help them to like learn how to do that. Because some of them, their career's only going to last. Okay, you know, it's true. To me, I invest some of that money you're making now because you're gonna there's only 2 of us that end up in our 50s.
Right.
Still right. So that's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For sure. Love it. All right, Shawn, you got anything else?
No, I mean, the only other thing I'd ask is the opposite way. Is there any race that you think about or anything that kind of got away?
Turn the page, buddy. Turn the page. That's those. There's plenty in the past that you say, this one or that one. But in our career, turn the page. Because if you dwell upon your past, you're not going to be any better in the future.
Right. And that attitude got you where you are.
Well,
absolutely.
It is. Once you walk in from a race and you might cut yourself or cut you know what? You got to turn the page. You're going to the race. Put it in. It's over. And people ask me, like, I got riders I see that are on big race. All right. Like, you got to look at why be because the only does not matter the first time. If you win, you get the money. If you don't, you don't. So don't look at the first. You understand what I'm saying? Do not look at the first. Ride your race. Get it done.
Great
Absolutely.
advice.
Well, it's true. You ride every race as if it's 10,000 bucks. You won't. Yeah.
Do you have any young jockeys that you've been around that you say is going to be a star, in the next 5 or 10 years?
No, but I predicted Pablo long beforehand. All right, Pablo Morales. I predicted him. He wanted me to take the book probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years. And I'm like, Pablo, I'm not done. But I said, you're gonna make it, and it's the truth. He's made it. The ones we have here, I don't want to pull anybody out because I don't want anybody to feel like. But your little Albert Burgos, he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of that cockiness to him, a lot of fun to him. I think he's going to have a good career if he can keep himself contained. Because he's young. 23, let me guess. 22, maybe. And in the meantime, he's got a lot of talent. He's got work ethic to him. He's fun to be around. And those are the guys you want to be, have fun with. So he's a good kid.
And you don't have to mention any names here. Do you ever have that jockey that's like your arch nemesis that you can't like get rid of? Always around you, always causing trouble.
Yeah, I won't mention a name. Yes, but
I feel like every jockey's got one, right?
We butt heads probably every other week. In the meantime, we both have enough respect for each other that if he needs something, he calls me. Or if I need something, I'll call him. But the two of us butted heads for probably 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I have too. Just thank you so much for coming on, Scott. I know you're super busy. We really appreciate it. It meant a lot to me personally. So.
Well, I appreciate it. Please, prayers out to my mom.
Yeah, we will. Sending good vibes her way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good night, Scott. Thanks again.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Did it again. You just moved right in there.
I'm a pro. What can I say?
Absolutely. Another great guest. Glad you made that happen, Jamie.
I love Scott. Unfortunately, the reception in Pennsylvania is very spotty. So there were problems there, but he's just a wealth of knowledge and so willing to share it with people. Like I said, I mean, when I was a pony girl, he's sitting here explaining these they're just explaining things to me, which most people don't. Most people are like, okay, go here, do this. All right, that's it. And he's talking to me like I'm a real person, like he's just a great guy.
I always wondered how those conversations went with the jockey and the rider because you are around a lot. Yeah.
It depends. Oh, yeah. Like, that's why I would always pick Scott because we had great conversations. He was never disrespectful. I'm not going to lie. Some of the jockeys were all fighting not to take. We're like, no, okay, it's your turn. I took him last time. I can't deal with him again. Scott was never that guy. Everyone likes Scott, but I would always call dibs on him. He was my favorite for sure. So.
Scott was one guy too, like when I was in my prime of betting and kind of new to the game, younger yet. Scott was always one of those guys that I always wanted to play because he was money.
Yeah, he's my kind of rider. He's a smart rider. He doesn't make silly, stupid mistakes. I mean, obviously he's a veteran. He's been doing it forever, but you can tell he's always thinking, I mean, he got a full scholarship for college, so he's got a lot going on there,
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So as far as racing news, the big story that everyone's freaking out about, of course, is Jose Ortiz changing up agents. He's had the same agent the entire time he's been in the States. Oh, hold on. I always forget to do my little
Screen
screen
share.
But I don't know if you wanted to chat about that a little bit. And
Yeah, absolutely. So Jose fired his agent, Jimmy Riccio. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Not 100%
Yeah,
sure
Riccio.
either.
And is joining with Steve Rushing, who's his brother's Irad Ortiz's agent. So Jose feels like, at least from what I've seen online with his quotes, he's missing out on some opportunities. Some of the other guys are getting bigger name rides, and he's missing out on it. So he's going to try, which just creates one heck of a dynamic, having brothers under the same agent. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how you manage that. I've tried to reach out to both of them for a comment. I got nothing back, so I don't have anything more. I don't got anything more else to add to that besides what we've read.
Sure.
I mean, I wish Jose the most success with it, and also Steve. I mean, congrats to him for. I mean, can't go wrong acquiring another great talent.
No, I mean,
dynamic.
Can you imagine working for both the Ortiz brothers? It's like a dream come true. So congratulations to him. And I mean, the other agent, he's done a wonderful job for Jose. I'm sure he will have absolutely no problem finding another world-class writer to work with. So, best of luck to everyone involved. Sometimes things just kind of run their course and it's time to make a change on all sides. Not really anyone's fault, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Jose won a Triple Crown race this year. His stats are a little down, but they're not really overall all that much down.
No, they aren't. No, he's doing great, but.
So, I mean, Rich has said that he feels like Jose's stats are a little bit down, but if you look at them on paper, they're not. So, it's interesting. Like, I don't think anybody saw this coming at all.
No. And it sounded like, from what I read, it sounded like it was not known ahead of time. So we'll see what happens there. Another thing that happened, Corniche, who was the champion juvenile last year, got an injury, had a really disappointing finish in the Amsterdam, finished dead last, right? Well, Turns out, according to Pletcher, he has a hoof injury and will be on the shelf for a while. So, that's kind of sad, but
yeah, it's not good at all. I mean, he was on the shelf for a while. I mean, we had Mike Smith on saying, we were asking about the Triple Crown and Corniche was still on the farm, not even training. So then they finally got him training again, get him in the race, and he gets hurt. Not good. I don't know how much more of Corniche we'll see as well. I mean, hopefully he bounces back and starts getting on a roll, but not looking good.
Had some bad luck, that's for sure. Oh, and then sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I feel like it's really hard once you put them on the shelf that long and they weren't even training to get them back to where they were.
Yeah, no kidding. Another one that we'll have to wait and see. Now, this story I thought was so interesting. We're always talking about HISA these days, always talking about what can we do to make the game safer for the horses and the horsemen. This just came out about racehorse deaths dropping sharply in Pennsylvania after implementing some new rules. So apparently they've got 17 recorded fatalities this year. In the same time span last year, they had 30. So that definitely is a big decrease. They've been doing several different things to try and make the game more, conscientious, transparent, whatever. They have vets kind of watching morning works now, and vets are able to say a horse can't run just based off of that. They've got the most interesting thing, I think, is they have an anonymous tip line where anyone can call and report bad behavior. And apparently they've gotten several tips. I think they said like 40 something, and 10 are still under investigation. So they've closed out a lot of those. They've checked them out, did whatever they had to do, but 10 are still ongoing. So,
yeah, I mean, at least the numbers are positive, and they've added a lot of these things. I mean, from what you hear and what you've seen, PA has a problem with a lot of the cheating and stuff like that. So I'm glad they implemented all that. And people complain about a lot of this stuff, like you have said, with the HISA and stuff. And I understand complaining about the HISA because horsemen ain't involved. But like something like this, because people were on PA about how bad things were, they did something about it. It's the same as when Santa Anita happened and all these fatalities happened. No idea why it actually happened. All I can tell you is since the uproar, look how quickly those numbers have changed and those fatalities have gone down. So as much as I complain too on social media and say, oh, people only cover the negative of the sport, which I hate, but it does need the publicity to get some rules enforced to bring these numbers down, which is always a good thing. I can't tell you how many times I've watched a horse race and something happens and you almost go, you know what? I can't watch it anymore. I can't see a horse go down.
Right.
And it's right like anything else. If you're in a car and you see an accident and somebody gets hurt, you may go home and you may say, I'm never going to drive again. But you realize you kind of have to do it. You know how to do it. You get right back in it. It's the same, we enjoy the sport. So,
yeah.
And for the most part, these horses are treated well or better than regular farms. So, you got to remind yourself of that as well.
Yeah, I know. I was looking. It looks like 36 horses were not able to enter due to these new rules based on various different things. So, obviously it's making a difference. We went from 30 to 17. They had 36 horses that they decided were not appropriate to enter based on the new guidelines. There was one that I found kind of interesting. I'm not sure about this one. So a horse will be permanently banned from racing in Pennsylvania if it finishes 12 lengths or more behind the winner for 5 races in a row. Now, behind the winner, sometimes the winner, behind the last place horse, absolutely, totally on board with that. You don't want to see horses going out there and just getting their hearts crushed. And obviously this job is not for them. But sometimes you can even end up like 5th or 6th and be 12 lengths or more behind the winner. So I'm like,
Yeah, it depends on who you're facing too. So I guess there'll be some strategy there too. If your horse lost 3 or 4 races like that in a row, you're going to make sure you don't go up against some real good horse that could blow your horse away. Some of that stuff, I don't know if results should be the way we determine if a horse can run or not.
Right.
It should be other things incorporated with that. Because if the owner and trainer and them want to run the horse and the horse is sound and they're taking a loss on the horse, hey, as long as the horse is still feeling good and enjoying himself, I don't see the problem with that. Like you said, you can finish 4th or 5th and lose by 12. So.
Oh yeah, easily. We see it every day.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about that one either.
Yeah. But at least they're doing something. I think with all of these rules, it all just has to be compromised. We can't just dig our heels in and say, absolutely not. We've always done it this way. We're always going to do it this way. But then we also can't be like, we're going to ignore the horsemen and just do whatever we feel without their input. It's got to be everybody coming together.
Right. And I'm going to say something a little bit more controversial. I know people don't like hearing this, but it's like all other sports when they adjust. And horse racing is in that baseball mode, where baseball or NASCAR, where all the fans before all this happened does not want to change a thing. They just want to leave it go. And you got to adjust with the times on some of it. And I'm not saying to do this crazy adjusting that we've done with 2022 type adjusting. I'm just saying the sport itself needs to adjust. And the fans need to adjust with it.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Absolutely. You hate to mess with something you love, but everything has to evolve. It's just part of life.
Yeah. And if it like something with PA, if it's saving horses' life, absolutely.
Right. Which also in turn saves their riders, whether it's a morning rider or a jockey in the afternoon, one less horse going down is safer for everybody. So.
Right. And we already got numbers down in horse population. So, you don't want to do any more. So,
sure.
So that wraps up your first week. You did a great job.
I messed up quite a few times, but we survived.
So pat yourself on the back. You did a great job. Now you get to go back to your regular job next week. Take a week off of here, and then come back.
Back in the pharmacy. Thanks to Scott.
Then you'll come back on the 15th. So tomorrow night, Players Edge crew is live with Peter Barry, Mountaineers announcer. We'll talk West Virginia Derby and a couple of the other big stake races there on Saturday. I know Tom and Rich, or Terry and Rich, are live tomorrow at noon, and they'll do Del Mar. So that's always a good show with their picks.
Oh, yeah.
And then, we got a whole week scheduled. Next week on Horse Center, Rich is back. We got jockey Lindy Wade, announcer Michael Bruno on Tuesday, and Mario Pino. I know you know Mario Pino on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a great lineup. Those are going to be good.
And then you come back, and we have Casey. You could
Delicat.
There you go. And then Tuesday, Antonio Gallardo.
Gallardo.
There we go. And Wednesday, photographer Kelly Saros.
Yes, very excited about all of those.
Yes, you did a great job scheduling those as well.
Oh, well, I chased down Antonio. I was like, you're coming on the show. I mean, it was easy because we lived in the same apartment building, so he couldn't ignore me forever.
So you definitely can't even ignore us that day,
Right. I'll just send Willie over there. So
there you go.
All right. Well, I guess that's it, everyone. And I never know how to say this where it sounds good. Like Willie was telling me how to say it in Spanish. It's like nos vemos en el círculo de, I can't remember it. I don't know.
I don't know how to say winter circle in Spanish neither, so I can't do that.
I'll practice. Next time I'm on, we'll know it. But
okay.
we hope to see you guys in the
winter circle.
Okay.